Israel is currently fighting a war. Hamas has failed Israel's biggest security pillar, the Iron Dome, and launched a simultaneous attack with thousands of rockets. More than 1,000 people have been killed on both the sides. The Hamas troops have been roaming the streets of Israel, killing people. On the other hand, Israel is also doing its Operation Iron Source against Hamas. Now everyone in the world is keen to know what Israel will do to Gaza. From America to PM Modi, everyone has condemned this attack. In this entire incident, the biggest name that is emerging here is Hamas. What exactly is Hamas? What's its purpose? How old is this rivalry of Hamas with Israel? And what is it about? Who created it and which are the countries that are actually supporting it? Let's get to know all that. The biggest question here is, will Hamas be able to achieve its goals? To understand this, we need to go back in history. Because if we want to know how Hamas became so powerful and controlling that even the world's most powerful intelligence agency, that is Mossad, was brought to its knees. So to understand that, we need to know the story of its beginning, purpose and the motive behind it. This war between Israel and Hamas is a war between Palestine and Israel. This war is actually more than 100 years old. To understand the story of this conflict completely, first of all, we need to understand two parts of this issue. Here the first is its geopolitical issue. Second is the issue of religion. If you look at the map of Israel and Palestine, at the geographical level, this entire area pointed here is what is Israel. Okay? The small part you see here in the west is called the Gaza Strip. The area in the east is known as the West Bank. These two parts, namely the Gaza and the West Bank, are the places known to the world as Palestine. The main point is that even though it's a country, it's divided into two separate parts. On top of that, the problem is that both parts are surrounded by another country, which is Israel. This means that if you want to go from Gaza to the West Bank or from the West Bank to Gaza, you must first go through Israel. Now let's look at the another aspect, which is the religious issue. West Bank area includes Jerusalem, which is considered as the birthplace of world's three major religions. The three religions are Islam, Judaism and Christianity. So this is how the conflict is deeply connected to religion. Israel currently occupies Jerusalem and many Islamic countries including Hamas oppose this occupation. The entire conflict is over this 35 acres of land, where all three religions have their own claims. If we look at the countries that are around Israel, we see countries such as Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, Jordan and Syria. That's surrounded from all sides. These are all Islamic countries and Israel is a Jewish country. These countries do not favor the Israel's occupation of Jerusalem. This is the reason why for the last 100 years, Israel and Islamic countries are fighting over Jerusalem. This conflict began with First World War when the Ottoman Empire was defeated. Britain won the war and it allowed the Jews to start settling in what is now called as Israel. Earlier Jews were a minority here, but from 1922 until the end of the Second World War, more than 3 lakh Jews came here. This is when the conflict slowly began. This conflict gained actual momentum in 1948 when a separate country called Israel was created for the Jews. Its opposition was shown in a major war in which Israel fought against 3 Muslim countries in the year 1967. Syria, Egypt and Jordan. These 3 countries altogether attacked Israel unitedly. The war lasted for 6 days and in this battle Israel emerged as the invincible nation. From this point of time, Israel established itself as a major power. What happened later on was, such fights continued to happen and in the year 1987, a group called Hamas emerged with the flag of Islam. Hamas is considered as a violent Islamic organization. Many countries in the West also call it a terrorist organization. The full name of Hamas is Harkat al-Muqawma al-Islamiyya, meaning it is an Islamic resistance movement. This group was started by a Palestinian scholar whose name was Sheikh Ahmed Yassin. The year in which this group was formed was very important because the foundation of the attacks Hamas is carrying out today was laid down in that year. Actually, a group of Palestinians were protesting at a checkpost. That's when the Israeli army fired on them. 4 Palestinians were killed in this incident and protests erupted across the whole Palestine. Until now, weapons were not used in Palestinian protests. These people were protesting by throwing stones. But after this event, weapons became involved in the protests and Hamas was created against this backdrop. The very next year, which is 1988, Hamas released its charter. In this charter, it had stated its objective. The aim was to destroy Israel and establish an Islamic society on the very land of Palestine. This movement was named as the Intifada, which actually means to shake off, bring tremors, or to get rid of. Hamas started the first Intifada in Palestine. On one hand, Hamas's power was increasing, and on the other hand, a war between Israel and Palestine had begun. Hence, the international community diligently tried to resolve this issue. And after a long period of struggle, in the year 1993, an agreement was signed, which was known as the Oslo Agreement. Agreement had positive declarations for both countries. The first point was that the Palestinian leadership recognized Israel, meaning that Palestine now had started to consider Israel as a country. The other thing was that Israel had agreed to the Palestinians for having their own government in Gaza and the West Bank. This agreement was signed by Yasser Arafat on behalf of Palestine, who was the leader of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, or PLO. This organization was the largest one associated with Palestinian independence. But Hamas did not support the PLO in this agreement. Just 5 months before the signing of the accord, Hamas carried out its first ever suicide attack. This attack significantly highlighted Hamas. According to the Oslo Accords, Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank were given the freedom to run their own government. Today, this entire area, meaning Gaza and the West Bank, is run by the Palestinian National Authority. This authority is recognized by the UN, and it has control over both the parts of Palestine. But there's an interesting point here. Hamas won the elections in the area of the Gaza Strip in 2006. And no elections have been held here since then. And the area that was controlled by the Palestinian National Authority, which was run by the Fatah party, was limited to the West Bank only. This means that these two parts are actually controlled by different groups. Another incident occurred in 2000. Ariel Sharon, the former Prime Minister of Israel, visited the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. The goal was to show their strength, but this had escalated the situation. The Palestinians said that Israel is actually planning to take control of the Temple Mount. And this incident rooted and paved way for the second Intifada. Hamas attacks became even more deadly after this. Shortly after this, Hamas attacked for the very first time with rockets. As days passed by, Hamas became more powerful. The power of Hamas increased even more when Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat passed away in the year 2004. From this point of time, Hamas has never looked back. They intensified the war against Israel to defend their land. This was Hamas' 7th attack on 7th October. It is being said that even in this attack, Hamas has been supported by countries like Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. Lebanon had already attacked Israel alongside Hamas. There is no shortage of countries that are actually supporting groups like Hamas. This attack is the biggest attack in the last 6 years. Hamas has emerged more organized and stronger in power than ever before. It is believed that countries like Iran have helped in supplying weapons to Hamas. Will Hamas be successful in achieving its goal this time? Now, if you think that Hamas has never launched an attack of this powerful scale before, then you are mistaken. From the year 2008 to this year, May 2024, Hamas has attacked Israel 6 times. Army and many innocent people have lost their lives on both sides. Hamas has been supported by several Muslim countries. As you can see the way Hamas is clashing and defending with Israel, it doesn't seem like this war will end soon. Israel has also vowed to teach Hamas a lesson so severe that Hamas will never be able to raise back again. Hamas has been losing its previous battles with Israel. But this time it has also outsmarted Israel's air defense Iron Dome. Now whoever wins, innocent people on both sides will be killed. What is your opinion on this matter? Please let us know in the comments. Do not forget to like and share the video and subscribe to the History Connect for more such interesting videos. Thank you.